I was riding the Carmarthenshire tram and take over proceedings. Now then, to begin with, we've got a new group of steering group members. I'm very pleased to have such a good team, and I took over midway during the year last February, March. So it's been an interesting year, and it's been a very busy year. We've got some really good members of the steering group, and we're trying to do the best for the 50 plus forum in the county. I'd like to pay tribute, of course, to Caroline Street, who has just spoken to you. Caroline has been the chair for the last 3 years, 4 years, 4 years and counting. So thank you, Caroline. Most of you will have seen Caroline here before. She's been on this stage, and we're very grateful for that. It's quite a long time, 4 years. There we are. We'll see how long the current one continues for. So the steering group is very good, but the really important thing is what people like yourselves, our membership, really want to see happen. So for us to capture the voices of people like yourselves, older people in Carmarthenshire, that's really important. And that's very much a theme of today. Listening to the voices of older people, reflecting those, harvesting those, reflecting them to the powers that be. Because all of us in our lives, in our daily lives, we come across situations where things are not as they could be. You know, we complain about things, we identify things that could be better. So we want to hear what you're saying, to capture that voice and take it to the next step, because we need to do something about it. Now, most of you will have seen some members of our audience today wearing Carmarthenshire is kind. So that's the theme of today, Carmarthenshire is kind. Sir Gar and Cadeirydd. Now that's so important. It's not something new, perhaps. It's very much part of our religious tradition. Kindness is a fundamental virtue. There are probably many others. Can I say a little bit about the 50 Plus Forum? If you've been here before, and many of you will have been here before, you are familiar with the general setup. Today is very much a flagship event, a celebration of being 50 plus, 60 plus, and so on. We could go on. So the contribution of older people is so important. So many of us, so many of you, so many of all of us are volunteers in different parts of society, in our communities across Carmarthenshire and sometimes beyond. So celebrating what we're doing and can do is so important. Later on today you'll be hearing other speakers, and they will talk about aspects of 50 plus, the important agendas as you get older. When you're younger, you might be thinking about building a career, getting on the housing ladder. When you reach our ages, you're less concerned about getting on the housing ladder. Perhaps more important is to get off it, but to get off it in a way that is manageable and sustainable. And I'm very, very much looking forward to what Councillor Linda has to say, because her responsibility within the County Council is housing. And she has talked about this in the past. What kind of housing is appropriate for older people? Sustainable housing, appropriate housing, downsizing, and so on. And that's a process that can be phased and gradual and so on. So today is a wonderful day. It's a day of celebration, celebrating being older, expressing your opinions about things. We have movers and shakers here that you can speak to and buttonhole, from the authorities, from the older persons commissioners here, the Minister Loughran Cadeirydd from the Welsh Government with responsibility for older people, and that's a new role for him, which is really important, in addition to younger people as well. And of course today there's so much going on. You've all had a copy of the programme. There's a lot of activity going on. That's possibly why we haven't got as many actually in the marquee as we sometimes have, but we do have a quorum. So after all the speeches, and the speeches will be no doubt wonderful, there's a chance to take part in different workshops, taster events, and all the activity that's going on in the Great Glass House. So many different voluntary organisations. So today is also a celebration of the voluntary sector. What all the different organisations, and there are over 40 in the Great Glass House and in the Principality House, providing different activities. So all of those organisations, voluntary organisations, run mainly, often exclusively by volunteers. Those are making a huge contribution. As far as the forum goes, we need volunteers as well. We have volunteers on the steering group. We could do with more volunteers. So if you feel like being part of the volunteer brigade as part of the 50 plus and you want to help, one of the projects that we're particularly proud of is the Walking Well Carmarthenshire, and some of you I'm sure are from different Walking Well groups. Andy Kurzfeld, who is one of our steering group members sitting in front here, Andy is the coordinator and the brains behind that particular initiative, and that initiative is going to expand with some new projects coming on board. So we need volunteers to help with that. If you have digital skills to help with the website and social media, communication skills in terms of communicating with the membership, you might be interested in being part of a focus group, a consultation group, and so on. So all of that is important, so that we have a mechanism for capturing those voices. For some of you, the big issue might be health or social services, could be transport, it could be digital, any number of things, pavements, roads, and so on. So there are plenty of opportunities if you want to volunteer, if you want to play your part as part of the 50 plus setup itself.